Hi everyone, this is Veronica. Today we are going to talk about Global Wealth Report 2019, the details and highlights of the report. We'll discuss about the income inequality also. So you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook for the queries because I feel together we can make a difference. Now you can join our channel and be a member of it at rupees 159 per month only. You will get several perks. At rupees 159 per month, you will get StudyIQ premium content by Dr. Gaurav Garg, by Prashant Dhawan and Mahipal Rathore. Dr. Mahipal Singh Rathore, monthly 5 premium videos will be given, and for Dr. Gaurav Garg, he'll give you daily current affairs, monthly banking awareness, monthly best 200 current affair videos, which other students won't be able to access who are not the members of the StudyIQ channel. Okay, now what is the relevance of this topic today that we are going to discuss? Because see, in mains paper 3, inclusive growth and issues, here it will be covered at objective level. You should know about this report, and subjective level, what is income inequality in India, what is the status of it. Now see, in what context today we are studying this. The Credit Suisse Group, this is a Switzerland based multinational investment bank which has released the 10th edition of its annual Global Wealth Report. So in its Global Wealth Report 2019, this typically tracks both the growth and distribution of the wealth, that means in the terms of millionaires and billionaires. It tracks the proportion of wealth that they hold as well as the status of inequality around the world also. And now the question is, what is the definition of wealth? How the wealth is defined? So wealth is defined in terms of net worth of an individual. That is, in turn, is calculated by adding up the value of the financial assets. So your financial assets will be added, such as this is your money plus your real assets. So real assets means your home, your cars, land, property, business, whatever you have, and then what you subtract from it if you have any loans, if you have any debts. Okay, so this will give the net worth, and then subtracting the debts the individual may have. So it will give you the net worth of an individual, how wealthy the individual is. Now, what are the drivers of the wealth of the nation? So individual drivers could be different, national drivers for the wealth of the nations could be different. So first is your size of the population. Now several factors can explain why wealth per adult. So here what is important? Wealth per adult. Okay, the word is wealth per adult. So there are many factors which can actually explain why wealth per adult follows a different path in different countries. For instance, overall size of the population is one possible factor that drives wealth per adult in the country. For a country, where there is huge population in terms of final calculation, this factor reduces. It will reduce. If there is large population, it will reduce the wealth per adult. Okay, but there is a flip side as well. The big population also provides a huge domestic market, and this creates more opportunities for economic growth and wealth creation also. Another driver is saving behavior. Another important factor in countries is this second one. A higher saving rate translates into higher wealth. The two variables share a strong positive relationship. Overall, the percentage point rise in the saving rate raises the growth rate of wealth per adult by 0.13% each year on average. Thus, if I give you an example, household wealth in Poland. So we'll take an example of Poland. Okay, within it has 18% saving rate, and it would be expected to be 27% in mid 2019, what they expected, if it had matched the saving rate of Sweden. So Sweden has 28%. So this has been said by this Credit Suisse report. Now talking about level of economic activity here. So but by far the most important factor in determining the different trends in household wealth among countries is the general level of economic activity as represented by aggregate income or aggregate consumption of the GDP. That's because the expansion of economic activity increases the savings and investment also by the households and businesses, and eventually it raises the value of household owned assets, both financial and non-financial. But wealth and GDP, if we are comparing the both, but wealth and GDP do not always move in tandem. That is what the report is cautioning about. This is especially so because you have seen when asset prices fluctuate markedly as they did during the financial crisis, then they cannot go in tandem. Now there are certain key findings of the report. The key finding is that 2019 report is that China has overtaken USA in what expect this year to become the country with the most people in top 10% of global wealth distribution. As things stand, just 47 million people, accounting for merely 0.9% of the world adult population, which what they own $158.3 trillion, which is almost 44% of the world's total wealth. And at the other hand, just see, at the other end of the spectrum, 2.88 billion people, accounting for almost 57% of the world's adult population, who actually own just $6.3 trillion, or you can say just 1.8% of the world's wealth. So the inequality you can draw from here. The other way to look at this distribution of wealth is from the prism of inequality. So the bottom half of the wealth holders collectively accounted for less than 1% of total global wealth in mid 2019, while the richest, if you see the richest 10% people, they own 82% of global wealth, and top 1% of the rich people, they alone own 45% of the global wealth. That is what has been reported by this report. Now we will talk about India, like what is the Indian case. So here you can take a screenshot of what I have already taught you about different countries, Indian case, Latin American, North American, and wealth per adult. Okay, now we'll specifically talk about India. What is the Indian case? Because total wealth in India increased fourfold between 2000 and 2019, and it makes India 5th globally in terms of number of ultra high net worth individuals as per this report. India has around 8.27 lakh adults. In the top 1% of global wealth holders, 1.6% share the global pool. So it is estimated that India has 4,460 adults with wealth of over $50 million and 1,790 that have more than $100 million. However, this study also found that while the number of wealthy people in India has been on the rise, a larger section of the people has still not been part of the growth in overall wealth. So what does that mean? That inequality persists. So here talking about the inequality, while the wealth has been rising in India, not everyone has shared this growth. There is still considerable wealth poverty reflected in the fact that 78% of the adult population has wealth below $10,000. That is, this report has stated this. And now when I'm highlighting this, the fact that a small fraction of population, 1.8% of adults, has a net worth of more than $1 lakh. Meanwhile, as per the financial major, India is expected to grow its wealth very rapidly and add $4.4 trillion. Okay, so this is trillion dollars in just 5 years, reflecting an increase of 43%. So these are very important facts for the prelim. So here analysis of income equality in India is very important from the examination point of view also. See, you can be asked about the causes of inequality. So you can say there are various causes of inequality: failure of labor intensive manufacturing in India, jobless growth in India, lack of skill development, then there is failure to develop export oriented studies industries in our country, then rigid social institutions like caste system. Cities have actually failed to produce productive jobs for poor migrants, then regional and interstate inequalities also. So these are the various causes. So what should be done? You should be ready with the how you can reduce the inequalities. Like you should promote labor intensive manufacturing, more inclusive growth should be added, skill development, because the development of advanced skills among the youth is a prerequisite if India wants to make use of its demographic dividend. Then progressive taxation, like higher taxes on the rich and luxuries, will help reduce income inequalities and equal opportunity for all, because the government may devise and set up some sort of machinery which may provide equal opportunities to all rich and poor in getting employment or getting in start in trade and industry. So this is how you can conclude this topic. So this is all about today. Thank you.